Okay, that was really weird. I was just setting everything up, and I always listen to music when I do, and I thought if Slide by Calvin Harris comes on, I'm just gonna have to not film for a bit and wait for it to finish because I really like that song, and it just came on. So here's a clip of me bobbing. There's actually a 2-minute video of me dancing, but you just get the bobbing, I'm sorry. Well, actually, I'm not sorry, you'd be traumatised if you saw the dancing. But yeah, hello and welcome to this week's video. Today I'm going to be talking about awkward situations I've gotten myself into. Awkward situations other people have gotten me into when I'm just trying to behave like a normal person in public. So let's go. So basically, the first story, I was in Birmingham. Maybe I have some pictures of Birmingham. If you don't know what Birmingham is, it's a city in England. Basically, I was quite a bit younger and I went there with a couple of friends. It was completely normal. We were just going around buying shit, and then at one point we were walking back into like the main shopping centre. I might be able to add a picture right now. And as we were walking towards it, this guy just walked up to me and I was like, oh god, because I was expecting conversation. It turns out the guy was a homeless person, so I went from oh god to Now, I don't hate homeless people, okay? I don't even dislike homeless people. I think this was my first ever experience being face to face with a homeless person, and like, I didn't know what the homeless person etiquette was. I don't know what the protocol is. I was kind of stuck in this area where I was like, how much is too much? And then how much is not enough, to the point that he might chase after me and try and kill me. This was young me's brain, not my brain at the moment. I know homeless people aren't murderers. Well, not all of them. So I kind of just stood there. I think I must have been 12 years old. So not that young, but actually, side note, gone on a bit serious here. I don't think homeless people should approach children, and I'd class myself as a child at the time. So yeah, I just don't think it's right for homeless people to approach children. I think that's wrong. Back to the actual video, but yeah, he came up to me and he was like saying something, but I was more focused on the fact that he was just my first ever homeless encounter. So I was like, oh my f***ing god, what do I do? So I wasn't really taking in what he was saying. I think he was basically saying he just needed like £1 extra so he could afford to stay somewhere that night. I can remember what he said now for some reason, but at the time it was just a blur, and I was kind of just, I was still stunned by the fact a homeless person had approached me. I'm not trying to say like homeless people are some kind of like subspecies of human or something, but it's just a bit weird. It's not like having an old lady approach you to say you look sexy or something. I don't know what that example was. Yeah, it's just a bit weird, and I just wasn't expecting it. So at the time, I was a bit scared, so I just reached into my pocket and just handed all the change I had, like all the coins. Didn't realise till like a few minutes later that I'd just given him about £7. Now that might not sound that much, but when you're 12 years old, or personally when I was 12 years old, £7 was quite a lot of money. That could buy a lot of food, like so many Skittles, so it was quite a lot. I just lose my common sense when these kind of situations happen. I just freak out and just need them to end as fast as possible. So if he needed money to go away, I'm just going to give him a load of money so he can go away. But the story doesn't end there because, well, it kind of does. The interesting part does. I was still approached by another 2 homeless people on that day. I don't know what the they were doing, but yeah, I ended up giving away £15 that day. Next story. The next one is the fact that every time I went out with my friends on a night out, I'd be stuck having to talk to this random drunk person who's just talking absolute shit, and he's usually like 40 years old or something. It's one of those situations where you just sat there and you have no idea what they're saying, so you're just smiling, just nodding occasionally, and just laughing every now and then, hoping that you don't laugh at an inappropriate time and they try and kill you. Okay, so one time we were just at this pub, and this pub is just like a breeding ground for weirdos. I don't know why we kept going, but we were sat on a table and everything was going fine for about 10 minutes until a guy came and sat on the table next to us and instantly started talking to us, and his opening line was, "Do you know the show Take Me Out?" Yes. My mate works on Take Me Out. I could probably get you on there. Okay. I just didn't know, like, what the do you say to that? I don't want to go and Take Me Out, it's shit. No. And also you're lying, so no. Again. Man. This man actually spoke to me for the entire time we were there, which was about 3 hours. 3 hours. 3 hours. The problem was, my friends were both drunk and so their moral compass had been deactivated for the night. So they had absolutely no problems with just ignoring him, but I couldn't because I was completely fine. Even if I was drunk, I don't think I could possibly ignore somebody. So I had to spend the entire time on my own speaking to him, and it was just, I've heard some shit before in my life, but this guy was on like another level of chatting shit. Wait, now that I think about it, he was actually homeless as well. I don't hate homeless people, okay? It's just a coincidence. He just happened to be homeless as well. I don't hate them, they just, you know, clearly hate me. At one point, he asked me if I knew what Northern Soul was. Obviously, I said no. And let's just say he was shooketh. So he got out his iPad mini and showed me videos in the middle of this pub with the music on as loud as it could go. If you don't know what Northern Soul is, like any normal person, it's this type of dancing where you just fling your limbs around, I think. It was so weird, I think I've just blocked it out of my memory. I just swear this pub was cursed. Every time we walked in, we just attracted the weirdest people. There was one time, I was just sat there and this guy came over and he was just shouting, Neil! 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 No, I'm not Neil. Oh, sorry, I think you just look just like my brother's friend. And considering what my hair looked like at the time, I highly doubt that, because no other human on earth would choose to have that hairstyle. So I assume he was just taking the piss. That's the end of this video. I'm not going to talk about every weird encounter I've had going out in public, because I think every time I've left the house I've had a weird encounter. I guess it could be that opposites attract and I'm normal as So yeah, that's it for this video. If you like the video, like the video. If you like me, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.